Alrighty then, let's talk about some pathings to the Wii script for the wallpaper engine. So, there's two versions of the script to begin with, and they're both completely different in how they perform and how you set them up. So, I will first talk about the OG script, the one that uses the Node.js environment. It's the one that most people are using because it's the one they found in the YouTube video. So I feel like it's the most relevant one. So what you will have to do is when you download the script, you'll have to open it either with Notepad or Visual Studio if you want to be fancy about it. But the first path you need to look at is this. This should take you to the log.txt file of your wallpaper engine. An easy way to check that is to simply go to, Steam apps, etc., and until you get to the wallpaper engine and the log file. Then you can just right click on it and copy as path and paste it in. Now this will give you a bunch of quotation marks, which you will have to remove. And as with everything in this godforsaken language, you will have to add double dashes like this for every single dash line. So make sure that all the way till the end, there's 2 dashes for everything. Now this rule for double dashes applies for the apps themselves as well. There's usually one pre-filled here, where you have apostrophe, quotation mark, then the path with double dashes, and then finish it off with .exe, quotation mark, apostrophe, and a comma to go to the next line. There will be a comma on every one of these lines except for the last one. The last line of the apps should not have a comma at the end, but everything else should be the same. Now we will look at some ways to use this. I have a little Google Doc here. I will share it somewhere somehow. And it has both the old version examples and the new GitHub version examples. But for example, the Steam one we already have. So let's take a look at maybe a Steam game, which will be essentially the same. You have an apostrophe, start, quotation, Steam, run game, just same thing for every Steam game you want to run. And then you will have these X's will be replaced with the game ID, which you can find by going into Steam. And of course, I don't have a started. Yeah, you go into Steam and you pick whatever game you want to play. Go to your library, click properties on the game, updates, and the app ID will be there. So this number will replace these X's. And sometimes it's 3 numbers, sometimes it's 6. But just do this and do 4, 20, 69, or whatever the game ID is. Then you just copy this entire row and go back into the code. You replace the entire row if you want to use it like this, and want to make it a bit fancier than that. There we go. So it would look something like this for a Steam game. Then you have other things. You have websites, where it's essentially the same thing, but instead of Steam run game ID, it's just quotation mark website, quotation mark. And it's hard to see when there's both a quotation mark and apostrophe, but yeah, there is 2 different things there, apostrophe and a quotation mark. Not in that order. And then a comma to finish off the row. I will leave these in the description, and you can copy and paste them however you like and edit where you see fit. Once you're done with that, you just Control S to save it, and then you run the cmd command, node. Actually, easier to do this is run node, find the actual Wii script, copy as path, and then paste that in there. Now, of course, I just uninstalled Node, but that should just work. If you have the Node.js extension installed already, this will just work and it'll start running. It'll be an empty bar. It won't tell you anything until you actually start clicking stuff. Then it'll tell you if it works or not. But that should be it for that version. If you then instead look at the new version, you will have the info.txt where you can adjust your settings instead. Similar, but much simpler. Instead of having all of these weird double dashes and quotation and apostrophes, this is going to be the log file, as mentioned earlier. If you do paste the log file, make sure you remove the quotation marks, because it should just be this line, or whatever it'll be for your installation of Wallpaper Engine. And then you have app1 equals, no space, and then the path to the exe file. Nothing mysterious there. Once again, if you do the copy as path thing, make sure that you remove the quotation marks at the start and end. There's some other examples as well. You can, same here, use cmd/c. This will make it a normal cmd command, so you can do a lot of things that you could do in like normal cmd. Start MS settings system will start, well, Microsoft settings or Windows settings. Here, same with the Steam rungameid. Same deal there. You have to find a game ID, which you can also find in this guide. Explorer.exe will simply start Explorer, like this. A good way to try out your settings is by actually just starting CMD and just trying out. Explorer.exe has this function. If we do, for example, this. CMDC means it's a console command. Some of them work either way, but some of them don't. And you would need to specify that it is a CMD command. But if we ignore that part for this and just type start and then the link, it will start. And I don't want to make it copyright strikes. But yeah, it's that simple. And you can always Google how to start blank with CMD, which will usually give you a good guide on how to do it. And then you use that command, but just add the CMD/C. And this is a /, unlike the backslashes you use for rows or directories. And that should hopefully be everything. Hope I helped. Bye.